Hey, this is Matt once again coming out with another review for the Dolph Lundgren Marathon, and this time it is Riot. Now, when I first saw this, I'm like, eh. Watching it again, it's a decent direct-to-video action film. If you're not, if you're easily pleased or you're not looking for much, you can do a lot worse than this, but you can do a lot better too. The thing is with this movie, it's falsely advertised. Because the cover of this DVD, you see Dolph Lundgren front and center, as well as Chuck Liddell. Chuck Liddell is our main villain. Dolph Lundgren is not our main hero. Combined, you'd be lucky if there's 10 minutes of Dolph. For a good chunk of the first half, he's in the prison, being this meek guy, quiet guy, mopping the floors. And then by the second half, he's talking to our lead, and you find out Dolph is actually undercover for the FBI, and he helps our lead out a little bit, and he gets to do a couple things at the end, but not too much. So yeah, Riot does not star Dolph Lundgren as his cover suggests. It's funny, the lead guy is not on the cover. The lead guy is this man called Matthew Reese. Now, Matthew Reese is not only the star, but he's also the executive producer, which maybe that explains things. With that said, it's not great, but watching him, it was a fairly easy sit. It's pretty straightforward. Chuck Liddell is this Russian bad guy. I don't know why he had to be Russian. Just have Chuck Liddell be Chuck Liddell, but he's a Russian with his great accent. He's a bad guy in prison. Even though he's in prison, he has a lot of power, so he gets a lot of things done that he wants done. The prison is crooked. There's a lot of cops and guards on the take. Meanwhile, our lead, Matthew Reese, he's this ex-cop who's put into prison. His wife was killed. His love of his life was killed. He wants revenge for that. For a little bit at the beginning, he's come back from him being in prison to this robbery that he was partaking. And then you find out later that he was undercover and that this guy who was his partner fucked him over. So he killed that guy, because that guy led to his loved one getting killed, and then that's why he's in prison. Chuck Liddell finds out our lead's in prison and goes, get him. When they fail, okay, $100,000 bounty for anyone who kills that guy. And meanwhile, there's this female prisoner who causes some ruckus, and then you find out that she too is an undercover FBI person, just like Dolph. And they're working together because they realize something's going on in this prison. There are much better prison action movies. Death Warrant, I would put up there. There's this one with David Bradley that's really good called Hard Justice. But here's why I didn't hate the film. Watch it again. Matthew Reese, he's not the most charismatic guy, but he was alright. I've seen so much worse than this guy. This guy was alright. Matthew Reese, I've seen much worse people. I don't think he was that terrible. And he seems like a pretty decent martial artist. I gotta give credit's due to John Lyde, who directed this. The fight scenes are plentiful, and they're well choreographed. They're well done. There's no quick cut and shaky cam. It seems like maybe he was trying to go a little bit more into the Raid Redemption. Granted, nowhere close to that. Don't get me wrong. But to go more in that direction, I appreciate. The fight scenes, you understand what's going on. Maybe another example, a little bit more into the Isaac Florentine direction. Like, this is more of a little bit of Isaac Florentine type of film than, say, a Steven Seagal direct-to-video film. which is a plus. Dolph, with the small role that he has, he did fine. This girl who is undercover, I thought she was hot, and I thought she did fine as well. She has a couple fight scenes with other female prisoners. And the movie went at a fast pace. The movie is an hour and 20-some minutes long. I could do without this little subplot. I don't know if this girl, I forget if she was a lawyer, but from time to time she would get on the phone with our lead, and then you see her trying to find info on the case. You didn't need any of that stuff. You didn't need that character, and that's how memorable she was. I forgot who the hell. She's down in the back here, picture-wise. But that whole subplot could have been taken out, because then her friend turns on her, they're fighting in her apartment, and then the FBI guy comes and kills the female villain. Again, that whole subplot you didn't need. You didn't need it at all. I mean, Chuck Liddell did fine, but did he need a Russian accent? No. But if you go into a film to watch a short movie that it's raining outside or snowing outside, and you just sit back and you see a couple good fight scenes and actors that were not that awful. They were not that god-awful. They were okay. I thought they were okay. I thought she was better than okay. I liked her. The lead guy, he was fine. And some fun fight scenes. He's fucking these guys up with a broom handle. Dolph punches a couple of them. There's another, I thought, pretty good scene where the lead guy's fighting these three suited up guards who have helmets and... Let's see, do they have a... Not on the back, but they're suited up the guard. I thought that was well choreographed. The third act, when a riot happens, you get a lot of fight sequences. You got the female undercover FBI fighting these female prisoners back and forth. The lead guys fighting people throughout the riot. Fucking people up in hallways. One of my problems, I'm going, why don't you let Dolph get in on some of this? He has one thing in the third act where there's this hallway of SWAT type of guys, headgear, and Dolph like punches a couple and takes. I think it's, what do you call it? I think it's smoke. Was it smoke grenades? It's not non-lethal. I'll put a non-lethal force because he is an FBI agent. He's not going to. You can't just murder people, fellow guards. But he does knock them out and knocks them out with this weapon. But I wanted Dolph to do more. I mean, if you have him on the cover of the fucking DVD, you should have him do more. Especially when all these... He should, like... I know he's older, but just have him punch and kick a couple other people. Get in some fight scenes. What's wrong with that? You didn't give him some fight scenes. That's the biggest problem with the film to me. And there's some lapses of logic. There's a moment where the female prisoner gets herself knocked out so she can be in the infirmary. And she has enough time, because I guess there's little guards and cameras in this area, to unlock her handcuffs, go into a room, go into a vent, look at some stuff, come back, go back to the infirmary, handcuff herself without anyone noticing. So yeah, there's some lapses of logic, and Dolph should have done a lot more stuff. And the subplot with the... I want to say she was a lawyer, I forget. You didn't need that. But the cast was fine. The pacing was fast. The fight scenes were plentiful. The choreography was not quick cutting. It wasn't schizophrenic editing. The camera... Like, the director knew to have wide shots to let us see what these people can do. I definitely give credit to that. Pretty decent fight between Chuck Liddell and the lead guy. The lead guy, I thought he had a nice look to him. And again, I've seen much worse. Like this guy, Matthew Reese, he did fine. I mean, I would say I even liked him more than that. What was that one guy? He was in that He was the Asian guy in that Van Damme movie. Kun Lee. Is it with Kun Lee? I definitely don't mind. I like this guy over Kun Lee, among others. I'm trying to think of what else I could say about the film. Like I said, it's a pretty straightforward movie. I'll give it that. It's one of those flicks that, despite the fucking false advertising, which I hate when they do that, it's not that horrible of an action film. It really isn't. Again, I've seen so much worse. I think it's worth a look. Don't go in expecting a lot of Dolph Lundgren, though. But if you want to see a decent, I would say above average, time waster, above average action flick. I keep mentioning, plentiful fights, pretty decent choreography. This be like back in the day if it's a video store when they were around, and here's a guy that you've never heard of, and he's trying to be an action star, and you give it a look, and you watch it, you go, that was a film. I had fun with it. That's kind of one of those movies with those like what Dave Apollo Cook or whatever his name is, like all these other guys, Lauren Avedon, like these guys trying to be action star. Which Lauren Avedon, I like some of his, the Tip Boxes, No Retreat, No Surrender 2. Which, yeah, I would put that above those two, but that's what I mean, like that type of thing. Oh, that one guy, Jal Murray, whatever the fuck his name is. I definitely like this guy more than Jal Murray. And then again, this guy wasn't great, but he was there. But I better stop because I've just repeated myself. But Riot, I remember hearing at one point, it's not this film, this strip, but John Carpenter wanted to do a film called Riot with Nicolas Cage. I think it was called Riot. And it was like a riot in a prison. Nick Cage has to... I think it had one of those kids that steered straight. If you remember that show where they bring kids in to steer the shit out of them. Dealing with real prisoners so that they don't go to prison and, change your ways. I think it's like Dolph and one of those kids trying to survive this riot. I wish John Carpenter had made that. I just thought of that because I think that also had the title Riot. I think you can look up info on that on Google. But anyway, decent film. Like I said, I've seen much worse. Much, much worse. And maybe that's the thing. Like, after watching all the Steven Seagal direct-to-video films and some of the not-so-great Van Damme and Dolph and other direct-to-video films, which they do have quite a few good ones, but there's some that's not so hot. Like this piece of shit. Or Agent Red or Retrograde. This is a lot better than those bullshit. Either way, thanks for watching. Take care. And we'll see you guys later for the next video. Bye-bye.